enough. I'm so bored. I'm so bored.
Hello there guys, welcome on in. Of course, yet again, the Review Bros review of a pre-workout. And it's Aaron. Good to have you watching along from wherever you may well be. We're going into a home bargains pre-workout special today. And we're going to be judging it on the usuals, the taste, price, label and effects. But what is it? Well, it's a well-known brand actually. USN have got themselves into this, let's be honest with ourselves, budget market, going down the home bargains, sort of Poundland theme, right? Can it justify itself? Can it do anything compared to pre-workouts across the world? We're going to be honest, we're going to judge it for all its merits today, and we're going to determine whether, even though it's a budget pre-workout, if it's worth the hard-earned cash you go about your daily lives getting. It's USN Hyperdrive, and it's their select market. So it is on their cheaper scale. Is the formula a cheaper version? Let's get into this one, right? First segment, guys, is the taste and the mixability. Probably the least important, because you neck it and you get on down the gym. You're not sipping this round the pool. It's not a cocktail, right? But some people care, and I can only imagine, forgive me, that the home bargains people, the people that would get this type of product, and again, you're going to have to forgive me, I would argue are less serious than perhaps pre-workout fanatics out there. They probably care a little bit more about their flavouring systems. Now, I've seen this same product in several designs, and I'll be honest, it's difficult to even get the other flavours. I've seen it in sour apple, I've seen it in tropical, but the one we've got for the sake of today's review is candy pop flavour, which is those lollipops up there. So it's a heap scoop for 10 grams. I'm putting it in about 300 ml of water here. It smells nice, gotta say, there we go, guys. In she goes. Right, I'm going to give it a mix up. We're going to judge this one, right? It does smell nice in the air. We've got a bit of froth, nothing extreme there. We've got pretty good mixability. 10 gram scoop is probably lower than an average size scoop. I'd say about 15 grams is about an average these days. But yeah, mixability, if you can see that, it's good. It is good. Right. Most important bit. What does it taste like? Let's get it down. Pleasant. Nice. If I had to guess anything, strawberry. It's quite a strong strawberry hit rather than the lollipop candy type flavour. Kind of like the strawberry starbursts. So it is nice. It's sweet. There's no bitterness on the back end. There's no medicinal aftertones. It's pretty solid. What would I give it out of 10? I'm going to give it one more sip and give you a score. 3, 2, 1. 8.5. It's good, doable. Neck it on down. Let's get to the gym. How much is it setting you back? Let's get into the price point. Okay, we're into the pricing point of Hyperdrive. It's the home bargains pre-workout, and this segment is probably coming as no surprise. It's a very affordable, very cheap pre-workout. It cost me just £9.99, and you get 15 servings from it. That equates to, when you do the math on that, just 67 pence per serving. Now, we've devised a scale that compares pre-workouts from across the entire world and put them on a scale out of 10, and where a 5 out of 10 is average. A 5 out of 10 price is about £1.65 per serving. So yes, it's a lot cheaper, and it actually falls straight into a 10 out of 10 on the price and scale of pre-workouts. Very cheap, very affordable. Now, of course, that's going to be determined now in the label and the effects as to whether it's still even worth that price point. Let's get into the label first. And we are into the label of this one. It's Hyperdrive by the Home Bargains USN brand budget pre-workout. Now, has it got a stacked label that's going to shock us all? I mean, let's throw it up on the screen and you can answer that for yourselves now. And in fact, for some of those people coming from Home Bargains, you know, this might be your first pre-workout. You might be checking it out and thinking, do you know what, I chuck it in with the general shopping. It is a very, very basic and ultimately a poor label. That's the truth. I don't think that's coming as a surprise. And don't forget that pricing point of it, right? So we're looking at beta alanine at 2 grams. Now that's going to give the beta tingle, the itchy sort of feeling as the pre-workout kicks in. And of course, as you build it up within the system after a prolonged period of time when it saturates within the body, it's going to help with endurance. Now at 2 grams, it's a little bit lower than we like to see. We normally like to see 3,200 milligrams, but it's not horrific of a dose. It's not like it's not going to do anything at all. It's going to do something. We then move into L-citrulline malate at 3 grams. Now that is a low dosage of the L-citrulline malate. I'd have liked to have seen 6,000 milligrams, so probably about double in general world effects, and then they often go up even higher than that. Now that is in there for the pumps, and it's going to help with endurance. It boosts nitric oxide within the bloodstream, helping with just pumps in the gym, nutrient delivery to the muscle cells, and it might help with growth down the line. Like I said, probably about half of what we want to see realistically. And then we've got caffeine at 300 milligrams, that is probably the strongest element of this pre-workout. 300 milligrams, I would say, is about average for a pre-workout. It's a couple of cans worth of Monster Energy drink, for an example. It's going to give you the energy and stimulation. That is a staple of the pre-workout world, and it's of a good dosage in this. So that is where ultimately the label, that's its strongest suit straight off the bat. And then we wrap off with niacin at 50 milligrams, and niacin's a B vitamin. It's not going to do too much in the way of your pre-workout. It's not going to affect you 30 minutes later and give you excess power or anything. It might give you a niacin flush, which is like a red sort of tinge to the skin. Nothing to worry about, harmless. Helps with pumps, helps a little bit with blood flow. And it might work with a beta-alanine to amplify that itchy feel, which for us, it is a placebo effect. But at least it makes you think the pre-workout's stronger than it is. It kicks in, you feel it kicking in, you get excited. And for a lot of new people to the market, that's going to excite them. They're going to think it's a strong pre-workout. It's not. Just remember it's placebo. But we take that sometimes anyway. If it gives you that excitement, who are we to be the judge of it? So there it is. Now, in truth, a very, very, very basic label. It probably only scores like a 1 or a 2 out of 10 on the scale. Very, very, very basic. Very good probably for beginners if it's your first ever pre-workout, and it's also very affordable. You do have to try and keep that in mind. If it was more expensive and it came in at like a 5 out of 10, I'd be ripping it to shreds right now. But because it is so cheap, and because it's aimed at the market that it's aiming for, I'm going to let a little bit of forgiveness slide on through. Now let's get into the effects of this one in the real world. Can it do more than the label would suggest? We now land at the primary segment of any review. It's the effects of the product in the real world. Forgetting the price, forgetting the label, forgetting the hype, forgetting the name, forget the whole shebang, right? What does it truly do? And whilst I said that, it's something that I will break down into different segments throughout this effects segment. And it's important that we keep an open mind. Now, I'm going to start straight off. For me, what did it do? It gave me a little bit of tingles. So it gave me a little bit of the pre-workout's kicking in. I can feel it. The itchy tingles were there, to a 3 to a 4 out of 10. It's not going to give you a strong tingle effect. Now, a lot of people who this might be marketed for would consider that a strength. I don't know. It is person dependent. Do you like an itchy tingle as the pre-workout kicks in? Do you not? If you don't, then it's suitable for you. It won't do too much. Energy, it gave me a bit of energy. 300 milligrams of caffeine should always give some energy. How crazy was that energy? 4 out of 10. It's not strong. That being said, if it's your first ever pre-workout, it probably would hit pretty hard. If you've used any pre-workouts before, or you're generally more used to using pre-workout types of products, then it's going to be very mediocre. That's the truth. Now, the pumps, almost non-existent. That's the truth. They're a little bit of something. Would you notice a difference between pumps using this product versus using nothing? You would be very hard stretched to notice the difference. That's the honest truth. We are looking at a low dosage of citrulline malate. It needed to be doubled in realistic terms, not to mention other pump ingredients alongside it. That being said, and all of this being said, you've got to remember the price point is a 10 out of 10. Is it worth that 10 out of 10? I would probably say no. They're still making quite a bit of profit out of this product. If it had been like $5.99, $6.99, I'd be saying fair enough. The truth is, it is one of the worst pre-workouts on the market versus other pre-workouts. But again, you've just got to keep that open mind and remember it is a 10 out of 10 on the pricing scale. It doesn't do a lot. Pre-workouts, we've often broken them down into different areas: focus, pumps, and energy. Now, it gives no focus. There's no focus ingredients here other than the caffeine. Can be argued that it wakes the brain up, right? That's about it. Pumps, one underdosed ingredient. The energy, which is what we would consider to be the primary thing you look for a pre-workout, is okay. It's got a 300 milligram dosage, which was what we consider to be an average dosage. So therefore, it's its strongest suit, and it's the strongest suit you would want it to be a strongest suit in. It's a tough one to decide. If it's, like I said, if it's your first pre-workout, it's probably going to hit pretty hard and you're going to think it's a strong pre-workout. It is placebo-based to a degree.
Savage pumps in the gym and the bedroom. Wolf pump.
And you will notice if you get into the pre-workout world, then it will, you'll notice it's a poor pre-workout. That's the truth. Trying to think of some analogies here. It's a tough one. I can't think of any off the top of my head. It's a bad pre-workout at a good price. So they're not ripping you off. If like I said earlier in the pricing segment or the label, one of the two, if it was more expensive and it was an average price, I would be tearing it to shreds. But because they're not ripping you off. Now, what would I say? Avoid it, buy it, and shortlist it? I would still say avoid it, guys. There are better options on the market. If you've got a budget and you want a pre-workout, choose basically pretty much anything else. You would be hard pressed to find a pre-workout as bad as this. That's the truth. You would be hard pressed. Of course, you'd be paying more for it, but you'd be hard pressed. So yeah, not much more can be said. Let me know your honest thoughts and feelings down below. Have you used it? Have you used other pre-workouts before? Have you bought it from Home Bargains? What did you think of it? All of the good stuff down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, stay stimmed. Cheers for watching.